We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful continent of Oz. Let's do 99. Hey everybody, and welcome to another LaserDude99 review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Oz, the Great and Powerful. And that, of course, being the prequel to The Wizard of Oz, the old classic movie about a girl that's off to meet the wizard. Well, hey, now it's time for us to finally meet the Wizard of Oz. Find out his backstory, how he came to Oz, and all that. So, our movie stars James Franco as Oscar Diggs, who likes to go by the name of Oz. What a coincidence. The land is called Oz. Anyway, we see from the start that he's pretty much a con man. Like, he's a magician, of course, and tries to put on a show, but he kind of plays it off like, oh, it's real magic, and everyone he talks to, he always tries to lie to either get their respect or get their attention. So through a couple of events, we see him jump into a balloon with his magician's bag and gets taken into a tornado and gets twisted all around and ends up, just like in the original story, into the land of Oz. And through this story, we get to see how he ended up where he was when we saw him in The Wizard of Oz and, you know, what happened to other characters along the way. Now quickly I just want to talk about this whole fairy tale genre that's been sprouting up almost out of nowhere. I mean, you could kind of trace it back to Snow White and the Huntsman, but a lot of these movies were kind of in production. All of a sudden, everyone was trying to make a fairy tale story in a new adult way. I mean, we had Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, we had Jack the Giant Killer, oh wait, Slayer, because that's like totally better. Then we have, of course, now this one, which is Oz the Great and Powerful. The thing is, I think the problems that those other ones had is they had, well, let's try to make the classic lighthearted fairy tale into a dark, brooding story. Now, to be fair, a lot of these stories weren't exactly lighthearted fairy tales, like Hansel and Gretel. They killed a witch by pushing her into the oven and burning her alive. And, you know, like, a lot of these stories were pretty dark when they originated, but then they were told, when they were made into kids' fairy tales, they were made more lighthearted, and now we're going dark. However, thankfully, that is not this film. I mean, you might have saw my Snow White and the Huntsman review, that I enjoyed that movie for what it was. I didn't think it was amazing, but I enjoyed it. So I can enjoy a movie that's taking a lighter fairy tale dark, but I did not want to see that with The Wizard of Oz. Unfortunately, I didn't see that. See, the story ends up with he's in Oz, and all of a sudden this woman says, "Are you the wizard?" He's like, "The wizard?" "Yes, the wizard that... if you're the wizard, you inherit all the gold in our kingdom and our king." And so he's like, yeah, I'm that wizard. Totally. And so as the movie goes on, he comes up with a couple of characters, kind of like similar to the original story of The Wizard of Oz. We have Zach Braff that plays this flying monkey. When I heard that Zach Braff was going to be in this movie, I was like, I'm probably just going to hear JD the whole time from Scrubs. I'm not sure if he can fit in a fantasy story at all. And it's true, a couple of times I thought Dr. Cox was going to come out of nowhere and say something. But for the most part, I think that this little flying monkey almost stole the show. I mean, he was funny. He has there's some really funny moments with this monkey. And one of my favorites, I won't give it away, is just... I can't say it because it would ruin it for you. But let me just say that he has some of the funniest moments in the film, and I think he's handled really well. Now, the reason I say that he almost stole the show is because somebody else stole the show. That's right, this little CGI China girl. Like first it starts off with, like, the monkey and Oz walking towards this town. That sign that says Chinatown. I'm like, there's a Chinatown in Oz. And then you see that it's a town all of tea, China. You know, like, their houses are made out of china pots and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's not, holy shoot. And then you look and their entire city's like destroyed. All these glass faces all over the floors and yikes. But there's one survival, this little China girl. This China girl is voiced by this actress called Joey King. She did an amazing job. Because, okay, when we think about The Wizard of Oz, we think about, of course, I mean, the original story. We think about, of course, of Scarecrow, Tin Man, and, you know, the Cowardly Lion. You know, there's the side characters. They're just as much as part of the story as Dorothy was. In here, this China girl and the monkey really kind of feel that camaraderie, that original camaraderie of the story. And it really, you know, you really do feel like it's kind of the same style. It feels in the same universe. And that's kind of hard to do because, let's be honest, like some of the acting in the old Wizard of Oz, it's very showing of its time. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? And so, you know, nowadays we have, of course, better acting and better effects and better everything almost. So you got to look at it and you're like, well, we can't just try to do the exact same thing because it would look stupid to nowadays. But we also can't just try to do it all new, or else people will think it's not the same place. It's a fine balance that they had to find, and I think they did it pretty well. Because the places and the looks of everything look really good. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of places that are exactly from the original story that you'll recognize, but there's a few. There's the Emerald City, there's Munchkin Land, you know, there's a few places, and of course you got the Yellow Brick Road, which really looks good. I mean, when you see James Franco walking down the Yellow Brick Road, you're like, I'm in Oz. I'm in the land of Oz. And a lot of it, I have to say, is probably due to the really good direction of Sam Rami. I didn't even know he was directing this film until I saw his name in the credits. I'm like, holy shoot, I didn't know that. I've been wondering what Sam Raimi's been doing with his time ever since he got turned down to do The Hobbit. However, there is a couple of things that I want to kind of address that are, of course, First of all, I don't think it's spoilers giving away that Mila Kunis is the Wicked Witch of the West because it says so on all the posters. But, see, she doesn't start off as the Wicked Witch of the West. She starts out as a good witch. James Franco sees her and he's like, whoa, hot chick. Let me just put this old BS story about, oh, this is from my grandmother, here you go. Yeah. And then they're like, I guess they dance and they kiss, maybe, and then she's like, oh, I guess we're getting married now. And he's like, what? Girl, you insane? And so he's like, yeah, you're a little, like, clingy now, okay? Back off. But, of course, through this, her other sister, okay, there's 3 witches in this film. Glinda, are you a good witch or a bad witch? Of course, she's that flighty in this film, but, you know, she gets enough of kind of flighty and serious to give her... She can be recognized as the past character, but kind of more of an extension. But then we have Rachel Weisz, who is playing the evil witch. Then we have Mila Kunis, who is playing the... I guess Rachel Weisz is playing the Wicked Witch of the East, but it's never really said. I mean, where's the Wicked Witch of the South? What's she's doing? Well, I reckon I'm going over to cast a spell. That one drunk. Anyway, so they're trying to frame Glinda to be the evil witch. So they send James Franco after her, and then he finds her, and he's like, oh, you're not actually the evil witch? Okay. But anyway, Mila Kunis, I don't think she did a bad job. I think she did an okay job considering the role. I mean, it's the Wicked Witch of the West. That's like one of the first villains you ever see as a kid. At least for our generation. I mean, one of the first movies you ever watched was like The Wizard of Oz. And you got the Wicked Witch of the West. So you're never going to try to get that perfect, because if you try to do it verbatim exactly from the original movie, it would sound silly by nowadays standards. If you try to do something totally drastic, you'd be taking it too far, and I don't know where she falls. I think the look of her, it could have been made to her look a little more grotesque. However, one thing I really like is when James Franco first sees her, and he says, oh man, witches, I guess they're all evil, huh? She's like, no, I'm a good witch. He's like, oh, well, why don't you have green skin and where's your broom? He's like, broom? You know, to fly on. You would fly on a broom? But when she turns evil, she actually adapts that look. I like that because it kind of makes sense. Like, if you think about it, like, what we think of a witch would be probably wouldn't exactly be what a real witch would look like in another world. But when she turns evil, she adapts herself to what he thought an evil witch looked like. I think that's kind of interesting. It's like when we think of aliens. If an alien actually landed on our planet and was looked exactly like how we always thought they looked, that would be a little strange, you know? But if like they could adapt and they adapted to the way we looked, that kind of makes more sense. Anyway, I don't know, it was just a little line and I liked it, and I liked how they handled it. I think she's actually handled pretty well. The only thing is, like, I like the ending, I do. It's a couple of stumbles here and there that I'm like, I can kind of see that coming. But for the most part, what they do with it is really creative, and I really like it. The thing is, though, it's just, there's nothing overly great about the Oz the Great and Powerful. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in it, though. I mean, like, I really like James Franco. I really like I really like Zach Braff as the Flying Monkey. I really, really like the China Girl. And, I don't know, it's just a couple of things that's just like, it's not exactly paced exactly right. It makes it to a good film. You know, it's not an amazing, great film, but I think this is a film that will satisfy people who like the original Wizard of Oz and aren't looking for a dark, twisted tale of it, but are looking for a movie that is just another movie in the land of Oz. I think this is it. And besides a couple of maybe frightening scenes for young children, I think that this would be a nice family movie. So I'm giving Oz the Great and Powerful a 7 out of 10. Pretty good movie. You'll enjoy it, I think, if you like the original Wizard of Oz. Nay, even if you didn't, well, then you have no soul. Sheesh. Alright, just joking. But, so hey, remember guys, I'm LazyDude99, and if I don't like it, it's not worth it. I'm thinking of getting rid of that slogan. It's pretty pompous, isn't it? Anyway, see you around. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.